good evening. Welcome to another edition of Flat Earth School. And no, Travis, this is not a dating stream. Hope everyone's happy and healthy today. Thanks for all being here. Coming to you from a beach that I grew up in. This is literally where I grew up as a kid. It's quite extraordinary at the moment. A lot of destruction recently. Yes, the plain truth. Travis, you are first. Thank you for being here. James Mason, how are you, mate? You guys are in for a treat today. Robert Page says greetings from and salutations from the middle of America. Hey guys, thanks for being here. How's the audio coming through? Good? Dusty Rider, hey mate, thanks for my... Dusty Rider is my most recent patron. Thanks Dusty for the support, really appreciate it. Audio's good? Cool. It's going to be a... Hopefully we're going to see an actual sunrise this morning. That'll be pretty cool. Audio good? Sweet. And yes, that light in the sky right there is the moon. Going to be talking about a bit of the moon and this large body of water that we see in front of us. Show us the moon, right? Right there. I have got my P1000 here. I might set up a tripod and zoom in on the moon. See what phase it is. Have a little look-see. Because we are going to be talking a bit about the moon today here on Flat Earth School. It is a fascinating subject, and it's not just about the moon today. It's about gravity in general. Travis says, match up the Terminator line with a ball. Yeah. Jerry says, hey Mitchell, thanks so much for these daily gifts from Jerry NC. Thanks, mate. It's great to be here for everyone daily in the Flat Earth School. Around us 24/7 since the beginning of existence. It's great fun coming out here and sharing my world around me with you guys. That's what I'm all about. Sharing demonstrations, things that we can see. Don't have to make up stories about them. I'm going to detail a story today though, centered around gravity. Because that is 100% a fictitious story, gravity. Dusty Rider says he's on the other side of that moon. Nice, Dusty. Oh, I'm going to set up the P1000 here and see what we can see with the moon, hey? Seeing as you guys requested it, why not? Got the camera here before I forgot it. I've got it. What are we going to be able to see? All right. Alvin Wilson says he sees the sun and the moon. He's in California. Yep, well, I'm about to see the sun, and I definitely see the moon. It's been cold there lately. Yeah, well, it's starting to warm up here. It's not too bad here in Australia. It is officially the first day of spring. Spring is about to be sprung here in Australia. Really looking forward to the spring weather that's coming. Already got a little taste on the weekend. It's been pretty warm. All right. Looks like I'm going to have to drop the camera a little bit. Let's see. Look at this screen. That'd probably be better. One of the really good things about the P1000 and the P900 is you can move that screen around. It's March? No. Our seasons are a bit different to you, Travis. It's now officially September and officially the first day of spring. All right, let's zoom in on this moon. I'll put it on moon mode. Let's see what we can see here. Simsational says, keep up the great live feeds, Mitchell. Yep, sure will. I'll be out here every day doing this. Every weekday, anyway. Let's see, what can we see? There's the beautiful moon that we see every single day except those couple of days when it's a new moon. Isn't it crazy that that celestial body in the sky, the moon, disappears for a couple of days every month, every cycle? There's the moon today from my perspective here in Australia, a couple of hours south of Sydney. Let me know if you're seeing it different at the moment. Anyone seeing that moon different at the moment? I'm expecting some of you guys are. It's a fascinating thing, the moon. Zoom back out. What else can we see here? It's a fascinating thing, this moon. I wouldn't have a clue what it is, but I definitely know what it's not. A physical ball that is responsible for the tides, as I'm about to show you guys here. Let's have a bit more of a zoom around here. Got a bit of a headland out here. Increase the angular resolution. See that headland there? And I guarantee you that part right here where it looks like water is over those rocks, it's not over the rocks. Those rocks are always visible. And it's definitely not due to the curvature of Earth. Part of the reason why I wanted to come here today is to show you guys that we can definitely see bottom-up disappearance from distances where you plug it into the Earth curve calculator on Metabunk, where it would be Earth curve exclusive. It's not far enough away. My observer height's not high enough. We can definitely see rocks there as we go this way. It looks like the water's engulfed the rocks. No. Purely the diffraction limit, angular resolution. Anyway, I digress. Today is more about that thing in the sky. I'll go back to it, the moon. And all about the assertions that some people put on the moon. Yep, Neil deGrasse Tyson definitely says that stuff is flat. Thanks, Planet Red Pill Host. There's the moon that I can see right now here in Australia. I'm assuming some of you will see it differently. A lot of misconceptions about the moon. Who thinks the full moon, I'm talking to globe believers here, and some flat earthers, I guess, who thinks the full moon has a greater effect on the tides? Dusty Rider said he had the reverse of this today. Yep, you'd probably see the reverse from wherever you are. Now, some people would assert the full moon has a greater effect on the tides. Oh yeah, Planet Red Pill Host. The cog dis is definitely real. Yep, it's a touchy subject. Yeah, King Tides, sensational. King Tides. That's what I'm talking about. Some people would assert that when the phase of that moon gets into about the full phase, that we have different tides, that things on Earth here are affected by the moon phase. I just want to point out, even though we can't see the rest of that moon there, in the heliocentric model, it hasn't changed. It's just the light on the moon. It's not like a part of the moon is missing as the phases go on or come to, as we're seeing more of the moon or less of the moon. It is purely just what we see. It's not like, okay, I'll go into the illusion. So we get told that the mass of that moon is affecting the mass of the Earth down here, and that's why we have tides. That is the mainstream globe rhetoric. Yeah? Now, why in the world would the phases, the light on this moon affect anything here on Earth? Why would the light affect it? It's not like parts of the moon disappear when that terminator line, supposed terminator line, goes all the way to the new moon. So a new moon compared to a full moon, people would assert that the full moon has a greater effect, has a greater mass, has a greater observable effect here on Earth. No. Why would it? It's ludicrous. Why would the phase, a light on the moon, have any effect on this? It's not like the mass is changing, it's still there. It's just a different phase, it's just different light that we're seeing, as per the heliocentric model anyway. That's the rhetoric. That's the kind of bullshit that we have to believe if we believe we're on a globe. If you believe you're on a globe right now. Ludicrous, isn't it? And just past my P1000 here, I'll move it out of the way a little bit. I want to show you the destruction from this thing here, the ocean, the waves. That's asserted to be caused by that light in the sky here. The moon. And we're going to go through that today. We're going to go through gravity. We're going to go through what gravity is, and definitely what it isn't, because it definitely is not a downward force. Put your hands up or point to something here if you can see something going down here. Is there anything in the world around you right now, as you just sit there looking around? Don't touch anything, don't manipulate anything right now. Is there anything in your world that you can see is going down right now? Is there any forces that you can see in action, pulling things down, everything down, as would be asserted by the globe model, a downward force? Anything? No? Some say it's an invisible force, we can't see it. Are things meant to be going down around us that we can't see? No? Well, I'll tell you what, things are definitely going up around us, and left and right, and all directions, and that's gas. That is the gas all around us that we see in steam, we see smoke, we see water vapor from this water. So when that sun comes up, hopefully we won't see a sunrise here today. When that sun is visible up over the horizon, hopefully we might see a bit of sea mist happening. That is totally negating the notion that we have a downward force, an acceleration that goes down only, a downward bias, some would say. Johnsberg says his bank account is going down. Yeah, mine too, brother. I'm out here because I'm not working at the moment. Bitcoin's going up. Yeah, maybe. But if you just sit and look around at the world around you, what is going down? Is anything going down around you? Some may see rain at the moment. It may be raining. But that is not due to gravity. That is not due to a downward force. That can be explained and it can be tested. It's been put through the scientific method. Relative density disequilibrium. Some people may not have heard it. For short, RDD, that's what we'll be referring to today. So today I've titled the show Gravity versus RDD, Relative Density Disequilibrium. Now the two are very, very different. On one hand, we've got gravity. Now, who can define gravity? Because that's where we need to start. If someone says our atmosphere, the spherical shaped air on a globe Earth, is not expanding in all directions as per gas law into the infinite vacuum above, we are told that gravity pulls it down. And hopefully we might see a sunrise here. Try and set my camera up. Let's see. It's looking promising. Got the P1000 ready. Oh, almost ready. Yep. Yeah? Look at that beautiful reflection. Evening, Adam. How are you, mate? Yeah, Vitamin C says, which gravity? Exactly. When we talk about gravity, we need to set the ground rules on what the hell are we talking about. Which gravity? Because there's a few, let me tell you. The most popular two gravities on the globe model are Newtonian gravity, which is mass attracting mass. That was very popular for a while, for a very long time. But since about, 106 years ago, the new gravity assertion has been bendy space-time. And it's not a cause. It's not mass attracting mass. No. It's now an effect. It's now due to a cause. Whatever that cause may be. We'll go through it in a bit. I just want to see if we can see the sunrise here. I think it may just be up over the horizon. Yeah, sunrise is looking pretty today. Let's see. See if we can see. I think the sun is up over the horizon there. Oh, it's almost the sun fading. Beautiful. See that line there? Is that... Oh, I wish I didn't have to hold this camera. That line there, is that the physical Earth curvature? Globe believers? Is that what we're seeing? Blocking the sun? The physical Earth curvature? Beautiful sunrise. Look at that. Gorgeous. There we go. There's a good view of that big circular light coming into our vision. Now I'll zoom out. What can we see? Beautiful. See that light reflecting there? Proving a flat Earth won't happen on a globe Earth. Beautiful sunrise here in Australia. Now, when we're talking about gravity, if it's mass attracting mass, it's a big problem because they like to calculate things. Look at that refraction, that's awesome. Look at these images we're getting. What is this sun doing? Is it turning into an upside down pear? Look at this. What a treat this morning. Good thing you guys joined. Looks like a light bulb. How cool is this? Good stuff. Oblate peroid, yep. Good stuff. All right. Beautiful here. Look at that. Gorgeous. Thanks for joining me here today, everyone. And I was beginning to detail what gravity is, or what it's a bit hard. Nobody can actually tell us what gravity is. They get a bit confused when we ask. I'll put this back on the tripod here. So specifically I want to talk about the gravity of things in the sky. Sorry, just putting the camera back on the tripod. All right. Whoa. All right. Get back over here. That light in the sky there. That's what I want to talk about. And not the one I just saw zoom in. Not the one I just zoomed in on to see. This light in the sky over here, the moon. Okay, so for those of you who just joined me, thank you. As I detailed before, this is a place here, a beach where I grew up in. This is destruction that you're seeing around me today that I have never ever seen before. In my 30-something years of being here in this Flat Earth school, it has never shown me destruction like we are seeing right here on my left here. Right here. That used to be a nice gentle slope from here all the way down there. You can see that that's not a ladder there. That's meant to be a footpath to help you get down on the nice gentle slope. That's been there since before I was born. Way before I was born. These rocks here, these rocks have never been seen for at least 3 decades, if ever, here at this beach. I suppose I can't say ever. But what caused this destruction that I'm seeing here? I wonder if we can see. Down a bit further down, these trees here, they're not actually attached to anything anymore. They're down on the beach. I'll go for a walk a bit after and show you the destruction that's caused. We brought the kids out here yesterday to this beach to show them, to do a bit of a homeschool lesson. It was great fun. Does anyone know the word for this type of destruction here on the beach? Erosion. Do you think there's any definitions or any mention of gravity in erosion? Yep, Dusty Rider, one of my newest Patron, erosion, yep. Spot on, mate. Erosion. Is there any mention of gravity at all in erosion? Definitely not. You will never find anything to do with gravity in erosion. Erosion is simply the movement of things here on the surface of Earth caused by natural events. In this case, it was that big body of water right there. Absolutely nothing to do with this light in the sky here, as we're told. We're saying, we get told, yeah, it could be tidal erosion, but this is something that has not happened due to the tide. It was a big storm surge. We had a swell of 5.5 meters last week. If some of you joined me, I went to the blowhole in Kiama, which is up there somewhere. It was going off. We had massive, massive waves, 7-8 meter waves, 5.5 meter swell. And this is the type of destruction that comes from, yeah, it could be the wind as well, but it's mostly the waves, that massive body of water there, that we get told is affected daily, hourly, by that light in the sky. Yeah? Nah, it's not much of a surfing beach today. I could get the board out, but it's freezing. I might go out in the water one day and do a live stream out in the water. That'd be nice. Get my paddleboard out. Be out in the water with you guys. Anyway. So we get told, yeah, 5.5 meter swell. It was huge. It was massive. We've had swells like that before. We've had bigger swells. We've had cyclonic swells here. But this destruction that you're seeing right here. So that's a rail up there of where you start. From the top of the beach here, top of the sand dune, and that used to go a nice gentle slope all the way down to here, and the water's way back there. The water has never been this high. This is just, Dusty Ryder was on a stand-up paddleboard today. Awesome, Dusty. Can't wait to get mine out. So, has that light in the sky got anything to do with this destruction right here? This is never, as I said, this is where I grew up, this beach. For over 30 years, I have never seen these rocks here. I didn't even know there were rocks at the bottom of these sand dunes. I've never seen the destruction like this boardwalk here. It's just been left for dead. I don't know how this is going to get fixed. It's a massive nightmare for the local council here. Don't know what's going to happen. We have never seen destruction like this, and there's a clubhouse up the top that probably about 10 meters away from getting eaten up by the swell. They've never been so worried that it was going to be gone. 30 years. And we get told that light in the sky, that light here, affects this, the massive body of water. We get told that it affects it hourly through the tides. Some anti-flat earthers have put videos out requesting us flat earthers to explain how tides work on a flat earth. Well, news to those people, go and see my #1 flat earth proof. It is definitely flat. It's been measured, it's been navigated as flat since the beginning of celestial navigation. Our earth has been proven flat. So everything that we see here on earth happening is happening on a flat earth. We do not need to explain why these things happen. We can explain some things, we can science some things, but there are so many things that we have no clue about, and we don't need to explain it. All we know is they happen. It absolutely happens here on a flat earth. So we get told that this is an effect of gravity, this is a cause of gravity, whatever you want to call it. When we talk about gravity, like I was going into before, yeah, they might blame it on climate change. Yeah, whatever. So when we talk about gravity, there's, in the globe model anyway, there's kind of two schools of thought. People like to say it's mass attracting mass, and that's what they like to assert has happened here. When the moon, that light in the sky there, when the moon affects this thing right here, the big body of water, that's what we get told. I'm going to go through a little video that I did a little over a year ago. Hope you guys can hear this. Just about gravity, about the assertions of gravity. Alright, let's go through it. Screen sharing. Hope you guys can hear it. Alright. Screen sharing. Nope.
If there was no gravity, that atmosphere would disperse into the vacuum of space.
It's a great place to start, Mr. Sensible. If there was no gravity, then that atmosphere would absolutely disperse into the vacuum of space.
As it is, gravity has its effect on each and every molecule in the atmosphere. Just like you lobbing a tennis ball in the air, it will turn around and come back down. The same force is acting on those air molecules. Simple.
So we get told by the anti-flat earthers that gravity is affecting each and every air molecule in the air. That atmosphere that they say when unwittingly invoking a container, when they say atmosphere, sphere-shaped air, yeah. But they've got other problems. Not only can they not show us gas pressure without a container, they cannot show us any effects of gravity whatsoever. So if gas molecules are asserted to be affected that have little or no, very, very little mass, what about the mass of this massive ocean? Yeah, we get told that mass attracts mass as per Newtonian gravity. I know it's 106 years out of date, but that's what we still get told as per Mr. Sensible right there. Gravity affecting every single gas molecule, and obviously every single water molecule, every single rock molecule, all these molecules around us are apparently affected by gravity. The bigger the mass, the bigger the attraction, apparently. So we get told that that giant body of water there is affected by that light in the sky, the moon. Yeah? Why do we not see this destruction each month, each day, or each year? This is something that I have not seen in the 30 years that I've been here. I grew up around this beach. This is destruction caused by that large body of water. Adam says, a gap in his knowledge. I know people use Newton's spooky action at a distance to explain tides, but is there an equivocation for Einstein, i.e., how does space-time bend only water? Yeah. I was going to go into that, Adam. How does the other side, well, the new gravity, as we can call it, affectionately called bendy space-time? So mass attracting mass, that is a causal effect, and obviously we can put it through the scientific method. So mass attracts a mass, yeah? So what's the observed natural phenomenon? Mass attracting mass. All right. So we pick something up, it goes down. The mass of whatever we're picking up goes to the mass of the Earth, yeah? Or the mass of the moon goes to the mass of the presupposed spherical Earth, yeah? Doesn't matter what you put it in. What's the cause? So we can see that maybe mass would attract mass in those things. What about gas? Why is gas that absolutely has mass, why is it not getting attracted to the Earth? Why is there not a downward force on gas? All the gas that we experience here on Earth gets produced here at ground level. It's not just sitting here at ground level. We don't have to sweep up puddles of gas here on the ground, do we? No, it expands rapidly, freely in all directions. Where is observation with gas being attracted to the mass of the Earth? You can't see it. It is nowhere. Yeah, there's some heavier gases that we can demonstrate can be here at ground level, but do they sit here at ground level? Are all the heavy gases just sitting here at ground level around us? Is that what we're breathing? Stuff like the man-made gas of sulfur SF6, sulfur hexafluoride, a man-made gas that is so dense that we can float tin foil boats on? Is that what we are breathing down here? No, we're breathing a mixture of all gases. Yeah? We do not have gas layers. We have a mixture of all gases, and all gases will, given enough time, disperse into the space that they're giving. That volume. Yeah? We don't have to go around sweeping up puddles of heavy gases around us. No, we have a mixture of all gases around us. So why do we not see that observation of mass, of gas, being attracted to the mass of the Earth. Yeah? So, number one, we don't even have that observation. Some would assert that, yeah, other masses, heavier masses like liquids and solids get attracted to the Earth, and that's why they're down, that's why they're sitting there. What about gas? Yeah? It's a bit difficult, the conversation to have of mass attracting mass when we're talking about gas. Because gas has gas laws, natural laws, things that aren't violated ever. We have no... They are natural laws because they happen always and never not happen. Yeah? So, let's go through what gravity actually is in this rhetoric.
Don't take any notice of the natural law this violates.
What natural law? Those air molecules are trying to whiz around and fly off into the vacuum of space. But there's a force holding them back. And that force is greater than their ability to overcome it. So they remain. But we do lose several hundred tons of atmosphere a day.
Oh really, Mr. Sensible? And what force would that be? Because gravity's not a force, mate. You better brush up on the current understanding of gravity. Here, let me help. From the University of Caltech. Einstein came up with the theory of general relativity, 1915, the prototype of all modern gravitational theories. Its crucial ingredient involving a colossal intellectual jump is the concept of gravitation, not as a force, but as a manifestation of the curvature of space-time.
The reason a bowling ball and a feather fall together is because they're not falling. They're standing still. There is no force acting on them at all.
Brian Cox, there is no force acting on them at all.
Gravity is not a force, but you can think of it as a force. Maybe that's... Now, literally, it's not a force.
George Musa, 2019. It is literally not a force. From Wikipedia, gravity is most accurately described by general theory of relativity, which describes gravity not as a force. From Universe Today, in general relativity, gravity is not a force. From physics.org, according to this theory, gravity is not a force. From Physics Info, from the Physics Hypertext book, gravity isn't a force. So, Mr. Sensible, now that we know there is no...
Don't need to look at the rest of those citations or the rest of the video. We know that gravity is definitely not a force now. We've got away from mass attracting mass, and now it's into the concept of gravity. What Einstein came up with 106 years ago. And now gravity has gone from being a cause of things, because gravity causes things. No, it's now an effect. It is now the uneven distribution of mass being the cause, and the effect being the bending of space-time. So as people just mentioned in the chat before, where's that light gone? You can't really see the moon anymore. It's kind of gone behind the clouds. Oh, no, it's still there. How is that light in the sky here, or this light in the sky here, affecting anything that's here? The uneven distribution of mass being the cause, and the effect being the bending of space-time. So, to put it through the scientific method, what's the observed natural phenomena? the effect, the thing that we're meant to be seeing, the bending of space-time. No? Anyone point out the bending of space-time around me here? Anyone? No? No bending of space-time? No conceptual medium being bent by the uneven distribution of mass? No, definitely not. So, this destruction that is around me here, this erosion that has been caused by that big body of water there. Chase Savoy says he bends space-time all the time in his mind. Yeah, that's the only place that this exists. It is a concept. It is something that it only exists, like the rest of the globe, in imagination land. You can never show gravity to exist other than imagination. You can never show a downward bias, a downward force to exist other than imagination. It can't be put through the scientific method. There is no force of down, even though down is definitely a relative direction. The only actual, real, true direction we have is magnetic north, but I digress. We have no downward force. Yeah, we see when this sun heats up the ocean, that large body of water, the majority of things that we see actually go up. And yeah, they will accelerate up because they're starting at zero, just in that form of liquid. When the molecules get excited by the sun, the massive entropy generator here, the sun excites all the molecules in the water. They turn into gas. They turn into water vapor. We see them going up all the time. You can even see down the end of the beach here, there's a layer, you probably can't see on this camera, there's a layer of water vapor all over the water here. All gas, all going up. Definitely not going down. When you look at the world around us, we hardly see anything going down, but there is definitely not a bias going down. If anything, we can assert there's a bias going up. That's what we observe in things like steam, smoke, water vapor, mist, fog, clouds, yeah? That's what we observe. We observe most things going up, not down. And the cause of things going down is because they once started down and were put into disequilibrium. They were forced into disequilibrium, and they attempt to return to equilibrium. And we can put that through the scientific method. Who has seen Anthony Riley's egg test? Well, I'd like to play you the video of Anthony Riley putting relative density disequilibrium through the scientific method, because gravity can definitely not be put through the scientific method. It has never been put through the scientific method. They can't even decide on what the cause and the effect relationship is to even get to the viable hypothesis. It is just not something that has been done. There is no scientific evidence for gravity, but there's absolutely scientific proof for relative density disequilibrium. It is all due to the relative density of each object in the relative density of each medium. So obviously sand is going to act different in the medium of air compared to the medium of water, compared to any other medium. Rocks are going to act different, and eggs definitely act different. That is just something we can naturally observe. An egg falling into salt water is going to float. An egg falling into non-salty water, fresh water, might sink. That's just a natural effect that we can see, and it is caused by the medium that it's in. And we can manipulate that. We can manipulate the medium, the density of the medium, to get the effect of things moving in that medium. And that's what we need when we have to put things through the scientific method. We need, first, a natural observation, natural being the main key word here. When we're doing science, it is exclusively to do with the natural and physical world around us. That is definitely not man-made things. So if we're observing an effect in an apparatus, in a man-made device, you can't do science on that. Let's get that absolutely clear. The scientific method is just one scientific method, okay? That is just a fact. If you don't agree with it, then you're not doing science. If you're claiming science but not using this scientific method, this is literally the definition of pseudoscience. There's a lot of pseudoscientists out there claiming science, claiming to be a scientist, but not using the scientific method. That is literally the definition of pseudoscience. So let's science relative density disequilibrium.
Experiment where I could measure the density of medium, in this case water, and I can make this egg move all by itself with just a little bit of salt. I can observe my phenomena to be that some objects appear to float, some objects appear to sink, some objects will suspend in different mediums. My hypothesis is if I change the medium's density, the egg will move. Newton said if an object moves, a force is present. My null hypothesis is that if I change the density of the medium, the egg will not move. I will activate one of the hypotheses. My independent variable, my presumed cause that I must manipulate in an experiment, is the density of the medium. My dependent variable is the movement of the egg. I will also try and keep everything else constant. The volumes of water, not will change, just the density of the medium. Let's see how I'm going to do this. This is my egg. This is my parts per million counter. This is going to measure the parts per million of both these fluids. This is tap water, regular tap water. That is the same tap water, but been preloaded to save some time with some salt from this to give it a density variation. It's going to measure the density of the tap water. So while it settles down, it takes a little bit of time. Okay, that's coming in at 212 parts per billion.
If anyone wants to see this, it is on Anthony Riley's channel, Sleeping Warrior. Yep, so he puts the egg in.
That there is a density variation between the two.
Puts the egg into the fresh water, and if it is a good egg, like was just said before,
it's dropped into here.
Yep, if it's a good egg, it will sink. Yep, cool. If it's put into salt water, it may float. And now where the science comes into this, that's the observed natural phenomenon.
This was done last night, because it takes ages for it to dissolve. And
where the science comes into this is he's going to manipulate the medium that this egg is in. He's going to add density to it, and he's going to manipulate the effect.
This is just normal table salt from your favourite supermarket. Other supermarkets are available. We can tell that the density of the egg is equal to the part in the glass where the liquid is. What I'm now going to try and prove is that if I change the density of the medium, I will cause the effect.
If you change the density of the medium, you will cause an effect.
So if I can change it, because I'm manipulating, I'm the experimenter, and I'm manipulating my presumed cause, my independent variable is the medium, that egg moves, I've caused it. We know the parts per million is about 300. All we need to do is pour some of this in.
Immediate effect.
Immediately moved.
Yeah?
Didn't have to wait for that, did we?
Immediate effect. Anyone see that? Anyone didn't catch that? I'll go back a little bit. Manipulates the density of the medium.
Pour some of this in.
An immediate effect. Yeah?
Immediately moved. Didn't have to wait.
And that's what science is, ladies and gentlemen. You have an observed natural phenomenon. You have a cause, and you manipulate the cause to produce that effect. Now, nobody can do anything like that with a downward bias. There is no downward bias. The medium that an object is in, it's all relative to the densities of those two things, relative to the density of the medium. And relative just means compared to something. So the density of the object is relative to the density of the medium. And if we manipulate the medium, then we can cause an effect in the way that that object acts in the medium. That is what science is. To date, nobody has done any science on gravity, whatever gravity may be asserted to be. Mass attracting mass being the cause, mass attracting mass being the effect, and mass being the cause. No one's done any science in it. Because we don't observe that in the first place. We don't observe the mass of air molecules attracted to the mass of anything else. There's no downward acceleration bias. Gases expand freely and rapidly in all directions. If you deny this, if you think the gas gets pulled down due to a force, you are in violation of every single gas law, every single natural law that happens and never not happens. This is what we are onto the globers and anti-flat earthers about daily. It is just a fact of life. If you disagree, show us gas pressure, any gas without a container, or show us gas that is being held down by something that has a downward bias. Because gas will always expand freely and rapidly into the volume it's given, into that space above us that is called a vacuum. By the way, nature abhors a vacuum. That means nature does not allow a vacuum to exist. You will never find a naturally occurring vacuum. But one thing that we do know about our world is gas only exists in a container. You will never find a container without gas, and you will never find gas without a container. Just the fundamental principles of how our world works. Now back to gravity. And if anyone thinks that this destruction that I'm seeing here, once in a 30-year event here, this is the beach that I grew up, been coming here for over 30 years, never seen the destruction like we're seeing right here. This boardwalk being absolutely destroyed. There used to be a gentle slope from the top of here all the way down here. And there used to be probably 20 meters in between the beach and the water. That's been destroyed. Is that from gravity? Is that from that light in the sky causing the mass of the light in the sky of the moon being attracted to that mass of the water, or the mass of the water being attracted to the light in the sky? No, it's nothing to do with that. Tides are definitely not caused by the moon. If there is a causal relationship, it needs to be put through the scientific method. Has never been done. There is no scientific evidence for gravity. There is no scientific evidence for a downward bias. It has not been put through the scientific method. I'm not saying it can't be done. Maybe it can be, but it has not been done. No. This large body of water is definitely not affected by the mass in the sky of the moon, or the mass of the sun, if they do even have masses, if they are physical, if you have a physical assumption bias. No science has ever been done on them. And yet we're told that those things in the sky, the sun and the moon, affect what we have here on Earth, the tides. No, definitely doesn't happen. It is just cycles of the moon that we see in the sky. They have no relationship on the things here on Earth that we can prove. Can't be put through the scientific method. It was definitely not those things in the sky causing this destruction. Like I said earlier in the stream, we came here with our kids yesterday to do a bit of a homeschool lesson on erosion. That is the cause to this destruction, erosion. We had a 5.5 meter swell last week. We've had massive swells here before. Since I've been alive, we've had floods, we've had cyclonic conditions. Never this destruction. Definitely not caused by the moon having any effect on here on Earth. Definitely all to do with erosion. Erosion just being the movement of things here on the surface of Earth. Definitely, it's different to weather, because weathering does not involve movement of things and just involves the weather. So erosion is when things are moved. So in this case, the sand is moved, is picked up and put somewhere else. Carried somewhere else on the beach. Maybe spread out, maybe put out into the ocean. But in the 30 years that I've been living here, I've never seen the destruction like this. How long we got left? I might go for a little walk. Yeah, we got about 7 minutes left. I'll go for a little walk. I'll pack up P1000. We'll go for a walk, and we'll see the destruction that has been left by these massive swells from last week. something that I've never seen here at this beach. I've never seen these rocks being exposed here. I had no idea that these rocks were even under the ground here. They've never been exposed in the 30 years that I've lived out here. And I'm assuming this is going to be all up and down the coast as well, from last week's massive swells. And it is definitely not a common occurrence. It is not common to have these boardwalks that were specifically put in place to be a permanent structure for people to get down to the beach. These boardwalks here, these little slats to help people down to the beach. That is definitely not a common occurrence where this erosion happens. As we are told, if it would be a common occurrence if the moon were causing these things, a cycle of the moon. Nothing to do with gravity. Nothing to do with a downward force. Yeah, hit that super chat. Thanks, flat back again. Let's go for a bit of a walk, eh? Let's see the destruction. That's a good 7-8 meters high that has been taken away there. Is just gone. Don't know if it's ever going to come back. Do you reckon it's caused by the moon? Do you reckon this is a common occurrence? Definitely not a common occurrence. Oh, and I'll tell you why. It's not just this permanent structure here. We've got trees that have been uprooted and left for dead now. Definitely not a common occurrence. Definitely not a cycle from the moon causing the tides to do this. This isn't a tidal effect that we're seeing here. It's literally just a storm surge. As we walk along here, can anyone see things going down? Is there a downward bias here? Tree down right here. Definitely not a common occurrence. That tree was nice and happy there for many years, maybe many decades. They take a long time to grow these trees here. And this is what all up and down the beach here. Does anyone think this is caused by mass attracting mass, the gravity of the moon causing the tides? Do you think this is a natural occurrence here? No, definitely not. Trees wouldn't even be able to grow if this is a natural occurrence. This is just erosion caused by a storm surge. And the point I'm trying to make here is our storm surges, whoop, almost got me. Our storm surge is caused by that massive thing in the sky, the moon. We get told that the tides are affecting, the moon is affecting the tides. So the moon is the cause to tides here on Earth. Did the moon cause this 30, maybe more year event? Like I said, I've been here visiting this beach for 30 years, never seen this destruction before. Definitely not a cycle, a regular cycle. Definitely not caused by the moon. Definitely not caused by gravity. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Whatever gravity may be, a relationship, a cause and effect relationship has been put through the scientific method. Relative density disequilibrium actually has been put through the scientific method. It has been proven, has been science, but gravity, downward bias has never, ever been put through the scientific method. Eaglet says, you live where there are many earthquakes? Nope, definitely not many earthquakes here. It's normal for the sea to give and take sand. It will come back. USA has that on the west coast. Yeah, it is normal for erosion. Yeah, that is just something that happens daily, but erosion of this magnitude, this is definitely not a regular occurrence. We do not see this regularly. And the sand is not just going to be put back here as it was. It is not caused by cycles of the moon. It is not caused by gravity of any sort. I've never seen these rocks before. definitely not something that is a cycle that is caused by the moon. Pretty sure you guys get it now. Lots of destruction, and it's definitely not caused by that little light in the sky. I can kind of see it's behind the clouds now. But I would like to thank everybody for joining me here on this live at this beach to see this effect. LA Meth Switch says, hey, in North Queensland. Hey, how you doing? Just showing you some scenes here from south coast of New South Wales. Massive erosion, massive destruction caused by a storm surge. Definitely not caused by any gravitational effects from the moon. I'd like to thank everyone for being in the chat. Thank you everybody for watching this live and in the replay. It's all been about gravity versus relative density disequilibrium. One has been proven by science, RDD. One is just pseudoscience, gravity, downward force. There is no downward force. There is no downward bias. If anything, what we witness is things majority going up, but there's definitely not an upward bias either. It's just gas laws. We know how these things act. Gases, they have gas laws. Gravy Gravel says hello to the Netherlands. Almost bedtime there. Yeah, the sun should also be causing the tides. Yeah, globe doublespeak, that sun there should be causing some tides. No, it's just the moon. And that reflection there on the water absolutely proves that we are looking at a flat earth, flat water right there. That effect that we're seeing, that reflection of the flat surface of the water, cannot happen on a curved surface. You will not get a nice uniform line of light being reflected off a curved surface like that. It is definitely absolutely flat. This is one of the flat earth proofs that I went through last week or the week before. I think it was last week. Moonlight, sunlight, reflecting off the flat surface of our water. It has been measured flat. It's been navigated as flat for centuries, since the beginning of celestial navigation. This is how beaches are made. I now have a nice beach, says Andrew Calvert in the chat. It'd be nice if people could get down here. That's what that boardwalk was for, those little slats. We did have a nice beach. But anyway, I digress. Thank you everyone for joining me at Flat Earth School. If you feel like the world turns on you, turn to Flat Earth School. It is around us 24/7 since the beginning of existence. I've been Mitchell from Australia. You've been visiting the Flat Earth School. Until next time, until tomorrow,